Democrats now, watch, now that they have full control of the Senate, they're basically totally in power, right? They have no excuse now. You have no excuse now.
Right.
We should see monthly $2,000 checks.
Period.
We should see Medicare for all. I know we disagree. We should see Medicare for all go for a vote on the floor.
Eventually, yes, I do agree with that. I don't want you to think I disagree with that. I just don't think right now, immediately, is something we should do.
So then when is the time?
I think when we get larger support, when we have more vocal support within the Democrats in the House and in the Senate, where we can bring up a vote and it could be at least close. I think you and I disagree in the sense that you think it's going to be closer than I think, and I think it's going to be a referendum on Medicare for all when it doesn't pass and gets its ass kicked.
See, I think it's important to get it to a vote now from a political standpoint. Not even that. I think it's from a political strategy standpoint, because now you have a name and a vote, and you know who voted for it, and you know who didn't. So it's like if I'm someone on the left, right, and Medicare for all goes to a vote on the floor. Obviously, we know who's going to vote for it, more than likely, right?
Right.
But I know who didn't vote for it, and now I can primary against your ass. I can run ads against your ass. I can hold you accountable. Now but now I can only just assume that someone like Phil Murphy doesn't support Medicare for all.
But I feel like
but now you have a vote assigned to it.
Right. It's like concrete. You can't go against
exactly. Right.
But like, I think we already know who supports it and who doesn't, right? I mean, if you support it, you pretty much say you do. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, you know how politics works, right? You know, people can.
I get it.
I can say one thing and do another, but your vote is what matters.
Like, I get it, and I understand the purest argument of it all. I just take, like, for instance, we had a discussion beforehand about the squad, and to me, if the squad is feeling like we shouldn't do this right now, I trust the fact that they're being pragmatic in their approach. You know, I think you and I both agree that the AOCs and Ilhan Omars and the Rashida Tlaibs of the world, they do want Medicare for all. I think that a lot of people
I agree.
who are attacking them right now, we need to freaking fall back a little bit. Like, yes, maybe you want to vote right now and you do want to see that brought up to the floor, but there are different ways to go about it. I just think they're trying to be a little more pragmatic. Now, whether you agree that it's pragmatic or not, that's a discussion to be had. But like, we know they want it. Let's get more people on board so that when we bring it to the floor, it has a better chance of passing.
The problem is, and especially from the left, pragmatism is viewed as a centrist tool. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, pragmatism is seen as like a Hillary Clinton trait. Like, oh, let's just be pragmatic. Let's. Yeah, it's like you're constantly punting. Like, oh, let's punt this possession. Let's punt. Well,
we're only being pragmatic in the sense that the Democratic Party is so centrist and so moderate that we have no other choice because we don't have the numbers right now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the way the Democrats,
I get it.
The Democratic Party is more pragmatic in the sense they cater to Republicans. Like,
right. But even this is even this is kind of viewed as you're catering to Republicans in a way, because you're catering to your more kind of conservative Democrats in the House and in the Senate.
Okay.
Like, my thing is just like, okay, you say you delay the vote on it, and you wait for a better time. Sometimes, like, I use the punting analogy. You're gonna punt. Eventually, you're gonna run out of fucking possessions. Like, eventually, you're gonna have to go for it on 4th and 7. You know, eventually, right? Yeah. And to me, I just don't want to be in a situation where you're running out of opportunities to actually bring this to a vote. To actually, like, when is it like?
When do we run out of opportunities, though?
I don't know. Like, honestly, bro, like, everything is on, like, everything that we assumed wasn't going to happen and could have happened has happened. Like 2020 has done that to me, where I think like everything is on the table right now. Like, I think that you just have to, like, I think there's room for pragmatism in certain areas and certain things in life. Of course, I'm not sitting here saying that pragmatism in no aspect of life isn't important. And even from a just political standpoint, I understand pragmatism. I just think that you have to understand that there are times where you just have to live in that moment, and you have to take advantage of the moment that you're in. To me, in a national pandemic, and I'm not saying, when I say bring it to a vote, I'm not saying bring it to a vote now or tomorrow or this week.
Some people are. People are saying to do it. I understand.
I get that. I'm not even saying I'm not going to go that far, but 6 months?
Yeah, I mean,
a year from now?
Yes. But see, then you and I are saying the same thing. I'm talking as if, like, let's do it right now. Like, no, we can't do it. There's no way we can do it right now.
See, I would do it right now because I want to know who has a vote on it and who doesn't, right? Okay. From a concrete evidence standpoint, I want it now. But even just from a practicality standpoint, let's just say in a year, right?
Yeah, it has to be before the midterms, very least.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like a year from now, that means Trump has been in or Trump Biden's been in office now for a year.
Yes.
You're still in the majority. There's no excuse why Medicare for all should not be on the floor for a vote.
Yeah,
None.
I can get with that. See, my misconception was that I thought you were calling for it like now, like today.
No, like ideally, yes. Me personally, like yes, I want it to go on a vote tomorrow. I know it's not going to pass. I know that. I think
I
it is. I think it's a lot closer than what you think it is, but I
I
know
have
it's not going to pass.
yeah. See,
But I
I
think
think what
from a
we just
political,
yeah.
see, I see, I'm kind of in the middle in the sense that I see the pros and the cons of having a vote now as opposed to waiting. Now, I think that we as leftists, we assume when Democrats and even the squad to a point tell us wait, they're telling us wait like 3 years. No, I don't want to wait 3 years.
No,
Like
no,
who
no.
the fuck knows what's gonna happen in 3 years? Like hell,
Six
who
to
don't
12
know?
months.
We
Let's
could
wait.
be we could
Yeah.
be in COVID part three. Like at that point, like we'd be so far gone on this shit. Like, and I think the thing that presses a lot of people, especially with the Medicare for all thing, and I'm included, is like, yo, we're in a fucking global pandemic.
Yes,
If
I
we're
agree.
ever going to get some sort of Medicare for all, hell, even a public option,
Right.
it's now.
See, and I think once Joe Biden's inaugurated, this is when you have your progressive movement on the left saying, "Hey, we have the House, we have the Senate, and it's gonna be it's gonna take months. You know, Cory Bush and AOC and Bowman, they're all gonna have to get out there and sell to the public why we should have Medicare for all, so that
Yeah,
it's an issue that everybody's aware of, so that when we do have the vote, and even if it doesn't win or go through, then the general public on both sides of the aisle understand what it is and
yeah.
who voted against it. I still feel like, for the most part, especially on the right, that a lot of people just do not understand what Medicare for all is. They just, people on the right hear socialism and it's forget it. They don't even want to listen to it. Whereas on the left, I think the problem that we have is that a lot of people like the public option. And we have a president who ran not on Medicare for all, but on that, and he won. So that tells me, hey, maybe there aren't as many progressives as we think, and maybe we still are a
See,
little
I
more
don't.
behind than
I,
we
I
think we
don't
are.
see the thing that's what gets me mad because this idea that like, oh, Biden won, so there's a referendum on the things that Biden believes.
But
No.
there has to
I
be
think
some
that
sort of
no, I don't think so. I
okay.
think Biden won specifically because he wasn't Trump. Like
No. I just mean the Democratic primary. I mean, you had Bernie Sanders running on Medicare for all. You had Elizabeth Warren, who, I mean, she was back and forth on it, but like she was attached to that as well.
but
Biden won the primary based off of moderate beliefs.
Biden
Period.
won the primary though because again, a lot of like the normie Democrats were convinced that you just have to defeat Trump. Like Trump is an existential threat. Again, we can agree that obviously with the results of this week, it's kind of hard to argue against.
Right.
But whatever. That being said, you know, Trump was the biggest. Like you have to like and like and again, what was the biggest thing we heard in the primaries? Right, electability,
Yeah.
electability. Yeah,
Right.
Bernie. We're with him on the policies. We're with him. Yay, yeah, we're with you out 100%. But is he electable? Is he electable? Is he someone that you could see on a debate stage with Trump? Is he someone that you could see, going into Indiana and winning? Like,
You think
like
Bernie
all
wins
the.
this election?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I do
I,
too.
I, I think if everything plays out the same, I think Bernie wins.
Okay.
I think that I mean, of course, it's easy to say that. Obviously, I have no evidence. I think Bernie wins. I think Bernie would have won last time if he was the
I think
nominee.
Bernie would have absolutely won in
I
2016.
think Bernie would have won because the thing that and this is why I always say this because Bernie has crossover appeal with Republicans. That's
Yeah,
what people don't tell you. It's like he has a lot of crossover appeal with a lot of Trump's base. So I think he pulls from Trump's base.
I agree.
If Trump gets 76 million, Bernie gets, you know, 6, 7 million out of that.
Yeah.
That's a number. You know what I mean? That's a significant
Right.
chunk right there. And I don't.
And your
I don't
and
this
your
is
moderate
all like
Democrats are not going to vote for Trump, so they're going to vote for Bernie regardless.
right, right. I think Bernie still wins.
I do too.
I think, and I'm willing to argue that Bernie's wins by a bigger margin
Okay.
because I don't think you had that like angst that some folks have with Biden or
Yeah.
that just like that like oh Biden's just
I think I'm very jaded
normal
by
type
his
of thing.
performance in the primary. I'm jaded to the fact that, I mean, and listen, I know a lot of things went wrong in Iowa, but I'm jaded by the fact that it was even that close to Buttigieg. No, there's just a lot of things where I thought Bernie had more support, and I link things like Medicare for all, especially Medicare for all, with Bernie. You know,
Mhm.
how you feel largely about Medicare for all dictates who you're pretty much backing. If you were a huge proponent of
Yeah.
Medicare for all, you back Bernie. Period. I mean, that's what it was. So
Yeah.
to see him kind of, in my mind, underperform in the primaries kind of made me believe that, hey, listen, I don't know if Medicare for all is as popular across the whole
Do you
country. I think
do
it's
you
popular. I
think?
think it's popular in certain areas. Like I think in
All
like
right.
the bigger cities like New York City, Los Angeles, things like that. I think it is. But I think if you go to your like Nebraskas and Iowas and
But if you look at the exit polling, though,
yeah,
Medicare for all in the election was like at 70%. I think, I believe. I'm not certain about that, but it's
I
it's
I
it's
think
popular.
yeah, it's popular, but I also think that the way they ask the question like means something too, where it's like, do you want government
True.
run healthcare, but like things like that.
True.
So I don't know how they're asking that question. I don't get me wrong. I think if it's explained properly, and you said this earlier, if it's
Hmm.
explained properly to everyone in America, I think people on both sides are like, yeah, fuck yeah,
Right.
let's have that. You know what I mean?
If, do you think? And I don't want to get too far off topic, but do you
Yeah.
think Bernie lost the election or lost the primary because of Medicare for all, or do you think? See, to me, I think Obama put his thumb on a scale, like literally after South Carolina, Buttigieg.
Oh yeah, they it was the Avengers. They
That
fucked them
that
up.
that that's
Yeah.
what swung the
Yeah, I
primary.
agree. I
Like
agree.
if that doesn't happen after South Carolina, I think Bernie's a nominee
I agree.
without question. I will go to my grave believing that.
Yeah, he had it. He had it. He had it in the bag. He had it. And they all, I don't know what happened. Obama called everybody. Everyone
Oh, he pulled
resigned.
a boss move. Like
Yeah.
he pulled the big dick move. Like, yo, this is happening. We're gonna rearrange the deck. Yeah, yo, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna make some phone calls here. He pulled a fucking gangster move. Like that's what it is. And respect to him, he did what he had to do, I guess, for his brand or belief or whatever. You know,
Yeah. Beto.
but I think that's what swung the primary more so than Medicare for all.
No, I agree. I agree. I agree.
I don't think that Medicare for all was an indictment on Bernie. I think that if I think that's what swung the primary more.